Hey guys, this is Sam from Prep for Success, and today I'm going to teach a lesson on colons. The two main rules to remember about a colon is before the colon must be a complete sentence, and after the colon must explain what is before the colon. So let's use these two rules to try and tackle this problem. We have my favorite colors are colon, blue, green, and pink. Initially, that looks correct. We have a colon, we're listing something, and a list is a good indication that we might be using a colon. However, it's not a guarantee. The only guarantees are these two rules, rule 1 and 2. So let's double check. We have my favorite colors are. Well, that's before the colon, so it must be a complete sentence. But my favorite colors are what? We don't have the second half of that sentence. So right away, it does not fit the first part of the sentence, or it does not fit the first rule. This is not a complete sentence, so we would not use a colon. But let's double check on the second part. So after the colon must explain what is before the colon. So before the colon, we're saying that you have favorite colors, and after it is explaining what those favorite colors are, so the second part would work. However, since only the second one works and the first rule does not work, number 1 would be not correct. But if we were to correct this, we could just simply say, my favorite colors are blue, green, and pink. And we wouldn't need any punctuation within the sentence, and we could say it straight through. However, let's say we did want to include a colon within this sentence. How could we correct that? Well, we can say, my favorite colors are the following. And then after that, we could put a colon and put blue, green, and pink. And by saying are the following, this now creates a complete sentence. So number 1 would be correct. And then the blue, green, and pink are describing the favorite colors. So number 2 would also work, and both of these options would be correct. Now, even though a list is a good indication that we might be using a colon, it does not have to be a list. It could be something as simple as just one word, or maybe even a complete sentence after the colon. For example, here we have, I expect one thing from my dog, obedience. In this case, the complete sentence is, I expect one thing from my dog. And then the additional information is, well, what do you expect? The obedience. So considering that, we can actually put a colon in between dog and obedience. And now this fits both of the rules. We have before the colon must be a complete sentence. So I expect one thing from my dog. Yep, that's a complete sentence. And then after the colon must explain what is before the colon. So when I'm doing the second rule, I almost like to make a question out of the first part of the sentence. See if it's answered by the second part. So we have, I expect one thing from my dog. Well, what do you expect from your dog? I expect obedience. So we do answer something mentioned in the first part. So this second rule also fits, meaning that now, once we put a colon between dog and obedience, this would be the correct version of the sentence. Now, after the colon could also be a complete sentence, because the second rule just says, after the colon must explain what is before the colon. It doesn't say anything about being a complete sentence or being a partial sentence or anything like that. So for this example, we have, I did not have enough time to do my homework, colon, I had a 6-hour practice directly after school. So let's see, does this fit the first rule? Is before the colon a complete sentence? Well, I did not have enough time to do my homework. Well, we have a subject, which is I, and then we have a predicate, did not have enough time to do my homework. So that would be a complete sentence. Now, after the colon must explain what's before the colon. So again, I like to ask myself a question. Why did you not have enough time to do your homework? Because I had a 6-hour practice directly after school. Well, yeah, it answers the question why they didn't have enough time to do their homework. So the second would also work. Regardless of the fact that this is a complete sentence, that doesn't matter as long as it follows these two rules. However, since it is a complete sentence, there's a couple different ways to go about answering this question if it asks for the punctuation. We could have a colon, or we could have a semicolon, or we can also have a period. Because if we think back, the rules for a semicolon is that there must be a complete sentence before the semicolon and a complete sentence after the semicolon, and those two sentences have to relate. And in this case, those two sentences do relate because one is explaining the other, so therefore a semicolon would work as well. And then if a semicolon works, we know that a period also works, so we know that in this case, if we put a semicolon, a colon, or a period, all three of those would be correct versions of this sentence.